What up, World Weary Team? Back at it again. Welcome to episode 113. Thank you to those watching me for the first time. Hope you liked the video. Go back and check out my other videos. Maybe find something you like. Remember to like, subscribe, share, and all that good stuff. Thank you to those who've been with me since the beginning or who have come along the way. Appreciate you guys for subscribing and watching my videos and all that good stuff. Hope you like this video. Continue to do so. Today's episode is going to be, I guess you can say, Halloween based because this is October. I'm going to be talking about movies that were made that are based off of true stories. A lot of movies say they're based off of true stories and they just have aspects of the movie that are true in the movie or whatever. But these are actually, I guess, from what I've read, these are actually movies that were actually based off of true events and that really happened. I don't believe in like supernatural stuff like that so much, but we shall see. I didn't want to talk about Freddy Krueger because I had him in another video, but this is The Nightmare on Elm Street is based off of true events from what Wes Craven said. Evidently, he heard a story about a Cambodian family where the kid, a Cambodian family who was escaped from Cambodia. The kid was super scared and he would have nightmares. He would stay awake for days because he was scared to sleep. When he finally fell asleep, the parents thought the crisis was over, and they heard screams in the middle of the night. By the time they got to him, he was dead. He died in the middle of a nightmare, from what they're saying, and that inspired a Nightmare on Elm Street where kids have dreams and they die in their dreams or whatever. They die in their nightmares. That is an excellent concept, and it's crazy if this was true. The Freddy thing wasn't true, but the aspect of the story, I guess, was true from what Wes Craven is saying. That is horrifying to think about, because as a little kid, I was terrified of Freddy Krueger in the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, like I said in previous videos. But for that aspect of that movie to be true, where a kid actually died from a nightmare, that's unbelievable. So the next movie that I'm going to talk about is going to be the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, 1974. It was based off a murderer, Leatherface, loosely inspired by the life and crimes of Ed Gein, also known as the Butcher of Plainfield or Plainfield Ghoul in the 1950s. Gein exhumed corpses from graveyards and made keepsakes from their bones, and also had a history of wearing women's clothes, as Leatherface does in the original film. I actually like those Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies. They made a bunch of them. I think Rob Zombie made a couple of them too. But I knew it was real, like based off of based off a true story. But I thought it was over the top to be like super real, you know? Because the things that he did in the movie, like killing people with the chainsaw and all that stuff, it didn't seem real. And he was the dude that played the Texas Chainsaw Murderer was huge. He was like 6'5" or something. He was a big dude. But to hear that is really based off of this serial killer Ed Gein, G-E-N, that's pretty cool. And not that he killed people, but it's pretty interesting that they made a movie out of it or whatever. Like I said, I like those movies. I thought the last one I watched was pretty good. I think it was directed by Rob Zombie, if I'm not mistaken. But those Texas Chainsaw Massacre movies are pretty good, and to be based off a true story is horrifying, to tell you the truth. The next movie is Amityville Horror. Now, I was scared of this movie as a kid. The movie came out in 1979. It's about real experience of the Lutz family during the 28 days they spent in Amityville, New York, the home on 112 Ocean Avenue. 13 months before the family moved in, Donald DeFeo Jr. had murdered 6 members of his family in the house, and the Lutz family experiences launched a series of books and the basis for 11 films. I didn't even know it was 11 films in this Amityville thing. Daniel Lutz, the eldest of the Lutz children, spoke about his experience publicly for the first time in a documentary My Amityville Horror, which was released in 2012. Now, there's been a bunch of Amityville Horror movies. The one I recently saw was the one with Ryan Reynolds, but I saw the original one back in the day. The one with Ryan Reynolds came out in the early 2000s. It wasn't that bad, but it was a lot of paranormal stuff going on in the house. I always knew it was a true story, but it's very interesting that I didn't really know that people had gotten murdered before those people moved in the house. And I think that house, I'm not sure if the house is still around today. I mean, they might have bulldozed it because of all the movies, and I guess people like to go to those stupid houses and take pictures and stupid shit like that. But Amityville Horror is based off a true story. Like I said, there's several movies talking about it, so definitely look that up if you want to watch a real horror movie based off of something real. The next movie is The Exorcist. 1973 is The Exorcist. Everybody knows about this movie. The Exorcist continues to frighten audiences years after it came out in 1974. The inspiration came from a 14-year-old boy known as Ronald Doe, I'm sorry. In 1994, it was reported that Doe was possessed by something sinister, and an exorcism was performed on him by a priest. The exorcism reportedly had to be stopped because Doe ripped off and threw a piece of the mattress spring at a priest. Red scratches would appear on Doe a few days later, with marks spelling out Lois. The circumstances surrounding Doe continue to be a mystery. So they really didn't, when I looked this up, they really didn't explain a lot about the real original story, but I always knew it was a true story. I think it said at the beginning of the movie it's based off of true events. But there's been several Exorcist movies. I like them all. I'm a big fan of the Exorcist movies. I'm a big fan of movies that talk about people being possessed and stuff like that. I don't know why I'm fascinated with it. It's just interesting to me how priests use the different tools they have to get the evil out of these people. And I don't even know if I'm convinced that after they do the exorcism that the demons or whatever that possess these people are leaving the bodies. It just seems sometimes when I'm watching these movies and they get the demon out, it just seems like it could be like tricking them and really still being inside the body. I don't know. But The Exorcist is definitely one of my favorite movies inspired by true events. I tend to watch it whenever I see it on. I think it's on HBO Max right now. You can watch it's a bunch of Exorcist movies. But the original was real good. And there was some stuff that went on. A bunch of people died from that movie, like making it and after the movie was made or whatever. So the whole movie has like a whole aura to it, like an evil aura to it. And I like the movie. It's not bad, to tell you the truth. The next movie that I'm going to talk about is Annabelle. 2014. I'm not even on front. I'm not even a big fan of the Annabelle movies. I think they're kind of corny. But the premise is pretty cool. From what I read, it says children toys can be terrifying. Annabelle is a vintage porcelain doll cursed by a demonic spirit, causing hauntings and violent endings to those that would wrong her. In real life, Annabelle was supposedly a Raggedy Ann doll owned by paranormal investigators Ed and Lauren Warren, based off the movie. She was originally gifted to a student nurse in 1970, but according to a psychic medium, the doll was inhabited by a spirit of a dead girl named Annabelle, and is said to be responsible for 2 near-death experiences, 1 fatal accident, and many demonic activities in the past 30 years. In the movie and in real life, I guess, they got a case. They got the doll in a case, and it says, "Under the glass case, Annabelle sits," and the words read, "Positively do not open." So they keep the doll in the case. I don't know if that even stops the bad stuff from happening. It's still out and about. It's still in. I guess if it leaves, I don't know. I just don't understand. Like I said, I wasn't a big fan of the Annabelle movie. I've seen it several times, and it didn't do nothing for me. But it's pretty interesting that it was based off a true story. And I guess those 2 people, they've done a couple of those Annabelle movies too. Ed and Lorraine Warren are like real people, and they actually collect that stuff just like they did in the movie. So there's that also. There was several other movies that were based off of true stories, like the Jaws thing. I wouldn't define that as a horror movie though. And there was a couple other movies that I didn't go into that they said were based off of horror movies, like The Conjuring, which I've seen, but I didn't want to put that on the list. The Zodiac, which is a true story, but it's not a horror movie. I guess you can call it a horror movie because he kills people or whatever. But those are the movies that I was more interested in. Let me know some of your favorite scary movies that were based off true events. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, share, and all that good stuff. I truly appreciate you guys for sticking around for about 10 minutes of your time. Give me 10 minutes of your time. You could have been on anybody else's channel and you decided to watch mine, so thank you very much. Hope you guys have a very good day. I'll get at y'all on the next one. Later.